All right.
Let's go.
Let's do that one more time.
Sure.
Okay. So, WatchPitch, podcaster and YouTube channel viewers, we are starting off with season 5. And we are so excited. I am here in Music City,
Welcome to Nashville,
Welcome to
Trey.
Tennessee. I'm so excited to be here. And I am here in the Entrepreneurial Center, which is an ecosystem hub for all these startups that are here in the Nashville area. It's super exciting to be here.
Well, welcome. We're so excited
Thank
to
you
have
so
you.
much.
We love having people come visit Nashville and experience this entrepreneurial and very vibrant, energetic city that we love.
Yes,
I'm
love it.
feeling it. And what I'm also feeling and seeing is a lot fewer masks on.
Yes. So our mask mandates were lifted last week in Nashville and Tennessee, I think.
Yeah,
Overall, and
yeah.
same in North Carolina. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's happening. The thaw is happening.
Thank goodness.
We are finally starting to be able to just peer around the corner
People
from
are
a
vaccinated.
really trying time. And
Yeah.
that's the way we ended episode 4, was right when the pandemic kicked in. And we're now approaching the other side of that. And so a lot of this conversation that I want to capture is what's next for us as startups and entrepreneurs. What are we seeing that is going to be necessary to carry forward from our experiences of the pandemic and to our businesses? And what do we need to maybe think about letting go of as we sort of forge ahead? So without further ado, I'd love to have you both introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about your businesses. And just want to thank you again for having me here in
Yeah, well, thank
Music
you.
City.
Like I said, we
Hashtag-
love having people.
hashtag Nash.
Nash Tech.
Nash
Yes.
Tech. All right.
Awesome. Well, hey guys, my name is Trinity Wiles. I'm co-founder of Wear and Share. We are a retail technology company, and we're developing interactive mirrors for retail stores that connects not only the in-store experience, but also the online to social sharing and purchasing that way. So for us, we really are forward thinking and thinking about how we can innovate this space and meet people where they shop and how they shop. So we understand that people shop online, but they also want a really good experience in the store. So that's what we're doing with technology.
So brick and mortar, and this was something that you developed how long ago?
So this was actually, we started this during the pandemic.
You did. So you
Or,
were
well,
thinking,
I guess right before the pandemic.
so before the pandemic, you're thinking about a brick and mortar
Yes.
application, and then boom, brick and mortar closes up.
Yeah, so we
Crazy.
kind of had like a coming to Jesus moment where we're like, do we need to make a pivot or rethink this? Because retail businesses were shutting down.
Yeah.
And none of us knew how long this would last. We were like
Scary.
14 days, and then it was like, 4 months, and we're like, what's going on?
Yeah.
But, we really thought about, during the pandemic, a lot of it was about survival. So even for our retail businesses and the small to medium-sized retailers that we serve, we're more thinking about survival mode than planning for the future. But we really had this vision that our startup is for the future of shopping. So we didn't make a huge pivot. We really put our heads down, focus on development, and talk to a lot of these retailers and ask them about their problems. A lot of these retailers that are smaller didn't even have websites till the pandemic hit, or maybe they weren't even selling online on social media, and they had to make that change when their brick and mortar shut down. So we saw that we're creating this seamless experience for them to not only sell online through social, but also create a really cool experience in stores. So we did have the thought of making a pivot. We decided not to, because we saw this more of, this is a short-term thing.
Temporary.
On the other side of this, these businesses are going to need some sort of innovation. And after talking to a lot of businesses, we felt confident with our decision to just keep focusing on development, keep going. So
So it kind of helped to at least work on the development process, not abandon ship,
yeah.
and position yourself for this time where, all right, we're starting to see people go to stores again, and now we can integrate this technology.
Yeah.
So I want to get into some specifics about
Yeah,
the
of course.
technology in a minute, but I'd love Blake to also introduce himself and your business. And,
My name's Blake, and I'm the founder of Low Voltage Nation. And so what we do is we bring together manufacturers, suppliers, and integrators of technology, specifically structured cabling like fiber optics, copper. So we build the internet essentially, and we're a community that
Wow.
We've been brought together through social media, basically. Instagram is where we started, and we did a podcast, and then now we have a Slack workspace. We're doing meetups, mastermind meetings, like the whole gamut of everything that a community is built off of. But we're now getting into more of the standards, the mentorship, the training, and then bringing people in that don't want to go to college or don't want to like have a typical career path and be part of the trade. So it's a great experience with bringing those people together, but also we were training people in person, and and we're doing meetups in person. So
that came to an end.
It came to an end. That was the biggest strategy around getting people together and actually marketing was doing meetups across the country with our ambassadors. So I had to stop all those, and what we ended up doing is creating a paid workspace where people can do it all virtually. And it actually became better because we were off the road, not spending money, and now we actually are a profitable company and community. So it actually became a blessing in disguise.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
So are you finding that when you now are starting to think about around the corner, are you thinking about starting up the live events again?
Oh,
as well?
absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's a big part of what we do is we train people in person. We get people excited. We go to conferences. We build stuff. We actually build stuff at our meetups. So that's
very interactive.
Yeah, Like, I don't like sitting down like just like networking or doing nothing. I like to actually build stuff at these meetups. So it's a huge component of how we have been successful in the past and what the future holds. So
it's reminding me that oftentimes you hear in businesses that COVID did provide some blessing.
Sure.
In terms of maybe this initiative to go online a lot more, where you could create this on-demand community that was very comfortable with kind of this 24/7 access model that maybe a live event isn't. Of course, it isn't.
Right.
And then vice versa, thinking about, well, if brick and mortar was going along as it was, I would imagine you would have been feeling very behind because there were all these opportunities that maybe you couldn't have been able to access.
Yeah.
And so that market slowed down for a while to be able to sort of catch up and now position yourself so that you're ready when those customers are starting to come back. And brick and mortar is going, well, yeah, we want some innovation. So what are you doing differently for the brick and mortar experience that is really going to enhance people's experience there? Yeah.
So we're building really cool technology, and we're still a startup in stealth mode, so I can't go into like super details of it.
Do your best.
We realized in brick and mortar and across all retail channels that the fitting room is the highest sales conversion zone, yet it hasn't seen any sort of innovation. And that's where we really wanted to come into play, because we realized this is where customers are in a buying mindset. They're most likely to buy and purchase, and you can reduce the amount of returns, which has been a huge issue for retail businesses with everyone shopping online and the pandemic. I mean, it's not profitable for them, and returns are a huge problem. But we really thought, how can we enhance this fitting room experience with technology, make it really fun and experiential for customers, but also give retailers the data, the capability to market back to these people in a really personalized way through online, social, and other channels. Instead of looking at, the in-store and the website and online as two separate channels, we're really harmonizing that. And no one has really done that in this space. Everything's been omni-channel and seen separately, but we really want to bring those together because we realize that's a really important piece of the shopping experience. And I think what the pandemic did is it accelerated a lot of trends. So I know like 9 really big retailers, the department stores, filed for bankruptcy during the pandemic, and everyone's freaking out, but these businesses were already in decline because they weren't innovating and they weren't meeting customers where and how they shop. And that's our whole vision for Wear and Share.
And where they shop and how they shop seems to be sort of, each generation has got a signature a little bit, don't they? So what are you seeing in the generational differences for shopping?
Yeah, so with millennials, that generation likes to shop online. A lot of like Amazon buyers for the convenience of it. But what we're seeing with this younger Gen Z generation, they like to shop in stores because it's the experience. You know, they go with their friends, it's kind of novel, and they have a huge amount of buying power right now. And they're kind of the generation that everyone's trying to market to and connect with because you know, they have a lot of buying power and it's a huge generation. There's a lot of money there and they're a challenge. You know, this is the TikTok social media generation.
Yeah.
How do we connect with those customers, right?
So it seems like that tech then is completely marrying and meeting them where...
Exactly.
I see. Smart. I can't wait to learn more about this
Yes,
business.
I'm excited about
Yeah,
it
bet
too.
you
I
are.
can't wait for a launch.
Yeah. So in terms of engagement with your community, how are you doing that and effectively to sort of reinforce that relationship and of course build on it?
Yeah, so we're actually a virtual environment inherently because that's how we started. I don't have hardly anybody here locally in Nashville. It's all distributed workforce, if you will, but we communicate through Slack. So if you're familiar with Slack, it's like group chat on steroids where you can have channels and but it's real time. It's better than like a Facebook group or a forum where you don't get an answer immediately. But with Slack, it's so real time. Somebody can be in like a data closet or installing something and they're all alone. Like I was there. I mean, I was by myself installing stuff, didn't know what the heck I was doing. So I wanted those questions answered by somebody that has done it before. So that's how I've really been able to communicate with people ongoing before the pandemic. And then it was already established that we had our meetups, we had our virtual meetups, we have the Slack workspace, everything is virtual already. So it was already there and already worked. You know.
And so with Slack, is it searchable? Like if you're in that closet and you're looking for something, I've worked with Slack on a number of different small projects, but the teams are very small and we're going back and forth quite a lot in the development process. But you have quite a number of people on this channel.
Yeah, there's 400 people, and then once you reach the 10,000 messages on the free version of Slack, it goes away. So you don't have access to that data. Which is kind of a problem because people will be wanting to search, that question that was answered, a few weeks ago. So we're going to eventually pay for Slack or maybe become a nonprofit and get a discount. But I'm actually extracting that data into a knowledge base, into like a WordPress blog. So it's to answer your question, it is searchable. It's very effective when the data's there.
Yeah, sure. So, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So with this thaw that is universal, I imagine that there is a combination of being a little nervous about what's around the corner because we don't really know. We know things are different. They're not going to be this exact same. But there's also potentially a lot of excitement. And I was wondering, as people who are running your own businesses, are you excited about what's coming around the corner? Or are you a little nervous about the sort of lack of clarity about what's around the corner?
Yeah, so I'll start. I'm super excited. I'm an extreme optimist. But there is always a factor of being an entrepreneur, and when you're starting something or launching something new, like you have that. I wouldn't necessarily. I guess a little bit of nervousness, but the stress and the pressure of doing something that's never been done before is always going to be there. Right. And I think it's more about how you react to these situations. So for me, I'm really excited about the state of the retail industry and in business in general. I think to be successful moving forward, you really need to listen closely to your customers and your users, because that's going to be so more important than ever. Honestly, you just need to make sure that you're serving them and providing them lots of value in any way you can, even when their business is changing or this industry is changing. How are you going to help them and solve their problems? I think that's going to be huge moving forward, but also, we're always thinking about how we can look so much farther ahead and change this industry and completely innovate the way things are done now. So it's like that fine balance of, listening and then helping people imagine what the future can be.
And I think in terms of what you're saying, taking baby steps with all of our customers is going to be important here, because I think even the customers are going to be unsure
Yeah.
about how to actually navigate this new normal without masks.
Right.
Yeah, and I would imagine, like, because you're probably approaching putting on some live events again.
Oh yeah.
Your
yeah.
next live event, your first live event since the pandemic is next week, right?
Well, yeah. It's a lunch and learn, but we're going to be planning for the next event.
Oh, okay, that's awesome.
But yeah, the wheels are turning, the ball's moving, all that stuff, and it's going to be exciting. Yeah, but what I'm kind of stressed out about is how much we've grown over.
That's a good stress to have.
I know, yeah. So yeah, it is.
Good problem.
We've grown so much virtually with our community that now we need bigger event space. Now we have more members, more things to manage, more sponsors to have to deal with. So that's like, it's a good problem to have, but it also brings some amount of stress, which is fine.
It seems like you've almost got another funnel where you might have people who are engaged and prefer engagement online, and others that will be engaged and stay actively connected.
Oh, yeah.
That
You do the
live
hybrid
exchange
model.
and do a hybrid. I mean, like, maybe a new funnel has all of a sudden been added to the business model.
I think it's expanded because the first meetup we had, we were doing live streams. I was doing Instagram live streams as well as I would host my Google Meet, my standard Google Meet meeting I do every Sunday. So I had people just dial into that as well. It didn't work out that well, but it was a good first start.
At least you tried.
At least I tried, exactly.
Well, and now that people are more fluent with, an online kind of
Because
exchange.
we've been doing it for over a year now.
Yeah, that's
we're very
true.
good
I
at
mean,
it.
my grandma learned how to use Zoom, so I know
Everybody
any of you
has
guys
Zoom.
can.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, in terms of next steps, what are some of the sort of principles that you're going to consistently be implementing moving forward, even with the new pandemic conditions that have us removing our masks and being much more comfortable in large groups? Like, as a business owner and as a founder, what are some of the things that you're definitely going to continue to do?
I mentioned this before, but continuously listening to our customers and users, surveying them, asking how we can provide value, letting them guide our development. So
Nice.
that's
That
key.
is kind of a golden mantra for any business. Listen to your customers. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick up where I left off, like nothing happened. That's kind of my strategy at this point. But I mean kind of
But with a new, bigger community. now.
Exactly. But yeah, to answer your question seriously, since there's so much technology that's happened or been adopted over the past year, like Zoom and anything that brings people together virtually, I'm going to continue producing a lot of content because more people are watching their phones or looking at their phones, and it's only increasing.
That's true.
So the
That's
more
a-
I can produce content, the more I get in front of those people that are already staring at those phones right now. That's a big strategy.
You're getting way more reach that way.
way more. I've
I
seen
mean, your
engagement.
content skyrocketed
It
when
is.
the pandemic hit.
It really has.
Which is awesome, which I think a lot of businesses were trying to focus on that when the pandemic hit.
For sure,
It's
yeah.
very effective.
But I'm going to continue. I'm going to go even harder in the paint with content creation right now.
I love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Excellent. Well, I cannot thank you enough for
sure.
having
Thanks
me
for
here.
visiting.
Yeah.
Come back anytime.
Hashtag.
Seriously.
Yep.
And to be here in Nashville. I love this town. So great to see how vital it is, and looking forward to the next steps for all of us as we navigate
sure.
this new normal,
Yeah.
mask free.
Yes.
Let's
Cool.
do it.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
See ya.